All right, welcome back. It is a terrific Tuesday indeed. It's even more terrific when we mix it up. It's one of my favorite segments that we do in the whole show. We kind of try to demonstrate our thoughtfulness and our objectivity by having a Democrat and a Republican come on, talk about the topics of the day. They mix it up a bit. I mix up my drink and cool off while they fight it out. And the one rule is at the end, we part friends. We had a thoughtful conversation. Great pair today. Two great friends of the show. Josh Kravitz is with us. He's an attorney, Democratic district leader in New York City. And Manny Alicandro joins us. He's our in-house attorney. He's also a television analyst on a number of networks, including Manny's Take on Flicks. And guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Manny, let me go to you first because I know Josh is going to have some good stuff on why his pick. But give me your pick for Joe Biden's VP, your prediction, and why.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on, John. I appreciate it.
Of course.
I'm going with Kamala Harris. I just think that she is going to generate so much buzz for Biden that he needs. And look, Biden is literally physically on life support, unfortunately. And I say this, respectfully, but he's just done. Okay. He's done. He needs someone who's going to be able to, literally help him, guide him, and make decisions because he's just not physically and mentally capable of doing it. So I think the biggest splash that he can get right now, look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? We know Trump is tightening the polls. Trump's going to win, right?
Yes.
And VP choices usually don't matter. I mean, we had Dan Quayle, come on, Sarah Palin. I mean, that really, that helped John McCain a bit. Then it hurt him a little, but Obama beat him. It really had nothing to do with Sarah Palin. You can't blame the VP pick. So I think we're putting too much energy and effort into the VP pick. But my guess right now, I would put my money on Kamala Harris. I think she's probably the one that would generate the most spark and the most interest for a campaign that Sleepy Joe is running out of his basement.
All right, fantastic. And Josh, I know you were on the Bernie train for a while, and that went, that didn't go as planned. So is Elizabeth Warren still in the running in your view? Who are you going with?
I don't think Elizabeth Warren is in the running. I have no clue who it's going to be. The question was, who do you think it's going to be? I have no clue who it's going to be. I do think that Susan Rice has a great shot. I think probably Kamala Harris is the most likely, but to speak to another candidate, I think she has a great shot. I think that Joe Biden is really concerned with foreign policy in the next 4 years, should he win. And Susan Rice, he obviously has a relationship with from the Obama administration, and she's super sharp. And from my perspective, I mean, the Trump administration is full of hypocrisy in a million different ways. And she will expose Mike Pence on that one night when they have on the stage. And that's really what it comes down to. I don't think the VP pick matters that much, but there's this one night where you have the VP candidates against each other. But going back to Manny's point, I mean, it's just amazing to me the way in which you adopt Trump's language, where you say Sleepy Joe and you say respectfully he's on life support. I don't know how you could respectfully say such a thing when the guy is actually running for president of the United States. And if you want to talk about mental acuity, wasn't it Donald Trump who said, the Spanish flu of 1917 ended World War II, which ended in 1945, or calls Minneapolis Minneapolis and slurs his words all the time, or who can't walk down a ramp? It's not a fun game to play. It's not a respectful game to play. And it's not okay that you adopt his words. And I know you're better than that.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, we need someone who has the capabilities physically and mentally to carry out the office of President of the United States. If Biden is just done. I mean, he had a great career. But it's over. It's like a baseball player or a boxer. Time to retire. It's over. Hang up the gloves.
Josh, you weren't for Biden. You were for Bernie Sanders. I want to ask you objectively because I think you're better than just giving me TV sound bites too. Do you think Joe Biden is the sharpest candidate the Democrats could put forward right now?
No, absolutely not. No, and I think that Donald Trump is the sharpest candidate that the Republicans could put forward right now? Absolutely not. There are a lot smarter people in the Republican Party. And there are a lot of people who could put their thoughts together. And they could be Trumpists. They could be people who are totally in the Trump. I think Tom Cotton could do a better job of making Trump's case than Trump could. Because Trump's going to go on and have a diatribe for 10 minutes about, a golf course of his during a rally.
Here's the point. Joe Biden right now is not the best Joe Biden he could be. Right? Joe Biden 20 years ago was a much better Joe Biden than today. And that's when he was in his prime. And that's when he was running for president. But he didn't get the nomination. It's too late. It's over. It's over.
Even 20 years ago, he was plagiarizing.
There are 163,000 dead Americans because of Trump's mismanagement. There are like 50 dead Taiwanese. There are like 500 dead in Germany. I mean, the numbers are staggering, and it is because of Trump's maladministration. And you're talking about Biden's mental health. You're changing the subject from the unmitigated disaster that is this country in every regard, but particularly the 163,000 that are dead that didn't have to die because he was sitting there saying that there was no virus, that it was going to go away in April, that we don't need testing, that we're testing too much. It's an unmitigated disaster. And you're talking about Biden's mental acuity. He didn't have the acuity to handle the.
Just wait till the debates. Just wait till the debates. They're going to be
all right. Well, you don't have to get all mad about it, Josh. It's only a talk show. It's only a talk show. Have a cocktail, will you? Now, more importantly, you're talking about Trump's maladministration. Russia has registered a virus vaccine. Apparently, Vladimir Putin's daughter was given it. And he was speaking at a government meeting on Tuesday. He said the vaccine has undergone proper testing and it is safe. How would you feel about taking Vladimir Putin's vaccine? It's the VladVax.
I mean, I'm not going to take the word of Russia in pretty much any instance. They say that they didn't meddle in our last election, and we know that they did. He's a former KGB agent. I'm not going to take the word of Russia. I was watching CNBC this morning. Jim Cramer had an interesting point, which was that, 25 million Russians died in the Second World War, and that basically Russian leadership, and maybe it's sort of almost like a relic of the time when they had the SARS, but Russian leadership doesn't really value human life in the same way. They'll say, okay, let's throw out a vaccine that hasn't been fully tested and just throw it out there and see what happens. The same way in the Second World War, they were just throwing soldiers out there to basically die.
This is Russian disinformation, right? It's before phase 3. There's no way the Russians, and they might be great scientists, could make the vaccination testing move any faster with the various trials and phases. That's just medical science. So I hope I'm wrong, but the fact that he gave it to his daughter doesn't add more credence to the fact that they have it or it's going to work or whatever. It's just far-fetched, right? I mean, it's going to take as long as it takes.
I think it's absolutely bizarre, and I have no reason to believe that he actually gave anything to his daughter. You know what I'm saying? And this is this is all propaganda because they don't want their leadership to be challenged. They come out and say, no, don't worry about it. We have it all covered. You'll be fine. Don't worry about anything. Take this.
We are number one. We are number one in the world in vaccines, COVID vaccines.
Now,
we are number one.
Here's one way they could have got it quick. If them and their buddies over in China were actually the ones who cooked up this virus in the first place, then they would have the antidote from whenever it started. So, there's that conspiracy theory. I could pour some gas on the fire and get Josh really mad. But who is actually to blame for this, Josh? The stalled negotiations, forcing the president to do executive orders. Who's to blame? Because I think the Democrats try to get everything, and then the Republicans came back with kind of a quarter of a thing, and there's this big, giant canyon between them.
Yeah, we could go into the blame game, and I think I could do a pretty good job of explaining why I think that the Republicans are more to blame. But honestly, does it matter? Does it really matter? The dysfunction is just out of control. I mean, there are people who are truly suffering and that they can't figure it out because of whatever ideological reasons is just really disheartening. And Trump, to his credit, and I'm going to go back on this in a second, but Trump, to his credit, is somewhat non-ideological. He sees a problem and he says, okay, well, now I'm going to try and fix it in this regard. However, I think it's an extremely dangerous precedent to have him issue executive orders. I've said this on the show before, and I keep coming back to it because it's something that I think is really important in the era of Trump, which is that the source of our prosperity has never been the marginal tax rate, right? It's sometimes we've had tax rates at 90%, sometimes it's been 30%. The source of our prosperity is our values and the Constitution and the rule of law and the mechanisms that we use. And so when the president goes around Congress, that is eroding the way that we make decisions as a country. And
like Obama did with DACA, like Obama did with DACA.
We gotta leave it. We gotta leave it there. We gotta leave it there, guys. We're out of time.
Brilliant move. It was a brilliant move by Trump.
Manny Alicandro, Josh Kravitz. Thank you, brothers, both. I'm sorry, we gotta go. Hard break.